everybody. Welcome to Special News Podcast number 80. I'm alive. It's me, your host this time, Jake Kukowski, and with me is Liam McKelvey and
Hello.
Mike Williams.
How's it
We've
going?
been away. We've been away because my throat tried to kill me, but didn't succeed. And now we're here again. There's quite a lot to go through. We've been recording these live since we've been at home, haven't we, boys? But because we've had to steal some time away from like Mike's working schedule, we just have to record it as and when. But the good news is there's loads to burn through. Like loads has happened in a week, and I feel like the game news has been Gotham City, and we've very much been Batman. Like everyone's been like, we've been getting emails, messages. People have been sending flowers to our house saying, please talk about stuff. So, I guess we better give the people what they want. I've been a bedridden little freak playing a lot of games, but so many that I think I'm going to talk about that in the bonus podcast for patrons, like Nier Automata and stuff like that.
Have we got loads to share with you?
Yeah,
later on in another podcast.
Yeah, well, I've got like, it'll just be boring, and there's too much of it, especially with the news. So, Liam, what have you been up to?
Given how much news we've got to get through, I'll run through it very quickly. First off, I finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which took me a grand total of 55 hours, I think. And yeah, it's a good game. It's pretty much Assassin's Creed Origins, but bigger, like in every sense of the word. Side quests are bigger, main quests is bigger, the world is bigger, just everything's bigger. Bigger weapons, bigger axes, quite literally. Big statues everywhere. Just big. And yeah, it's a good game.
Not as long as the time between now and actual ancient Greece, I think, isn't it? That's the actual
It is. It really
amount
is.
of content that's in the game.
Yeah.
And
If you didn't fast travel, that's how long it is.
yeah, for sure. Fast travel is a godsend in this game, I have to say. But
what are you playing it on, Liam?
I played it on Xbox One X, so the best console version, you could say, I guess. And it's a looker of a game, I have to say. Like, beautiful game to look at. Like, the art style and just the extra power of the Xbox make it look very like sharp and everything. But yeah, it's like it's just Assassin's Creed Origins again, but yeah, like I said, bigger. I enjoyed the story a bit, I guess. I played as Cassandra because everyone told me to. Said she's the better character between her and Alexios. So I played as her, and yeah, I like it. It's a good game. I did get very worn out by the end, though, to the point where when it got to like side quests and stuff, I was skipping cuts like dialogue because it just like I couldn't be bothered listening to whatever the NPCs had to say because it was usually
I'm already doing that, and I'm 5 hours in. I'm already like just skimming the text and going, yeah, right, Cyclops, I get it.
That's what I was doing because at the end of the day, it all boiled down to, hey, you need to go to this fishing village, send your eagle out, scan the area, stab a guy, run away, go talk to the person again, and then they'll send you to the next area, and they tell you a bit more plot about how they're scared for their life because they owe money to the local warlord and stuff like that. It did get very repetitive towards the end, and a bit padded out, I have to say. Like, Origins did this as well, but my biggest pet peeve with Odyssey was you'll be doing the main quest, and then all of a sudden the next main quest will be like 5 or 6 levels higher than your current level. Yeah. So you'd have to just go grind out side quests for a bit to progress, which I hate it when they level gate stuff like that. But so I think that was that contributed quite a lot to its length because it sort of forces you to do side quests.
And making it an RPG like that as well is a bit weird because it's obviously grounded in history, so it's it's not like when you're playing the Dragon Age or something like that where it is it's like a 3D game. It's not like it's like an isometric game or anything. It's the same kind of thing, except in Dragon Age there's just a lot of different people in your party and they all have different skills, and then by the end of it you can fucking shoot a giant flaming dragon out of your staff or whatever. And it's like, in this, you get to do a big kick or then a slightly bigger kick and then a really big kick. And it's like that, it misses out on a lot of the kind of scale, I think, of a fantasy RPG.
It does. It's definitely. That's
why it doesn't work.
Yeah, like I know what you mean, but like, it's got the fantasy elements in it as well because they do go into like ancient lore of Greece and stuff, like gorgons and cyclopses and stuff like that. But yeah, like I
just mean in the character, you don't have a party, you don't have an elf and a mage and a dwarf and they're all different roles. You got one person who's got two swords or
some
a
sandals,
staff and
steel sandals.
Yeah, this is kind of a more limited range of RPG-ish gameplay.
Yeah, you can pretty much
in it.
Yeah, you can play like stealth, warrior, or archer. Basically, in Assassin's Creed, they're your only like play styles you get.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a good game. I finished. What was it? Because you get 3 main quest lines. So you've got like the main story quest, which is just like discovering your family history. You got the next one, which is like dealing with the underwater city of Atlantis. Like, that's not a spoiler, don't worry, by the way, if you're playing it.
Yeah.
And you got, like, hunting down members of a cult, which was ripped straight out of Ghost Recon Wildlands with the, just like you have the one person in the middle, and then, like, all the lieutenants dotted around it. And that is the only one I didn't finish, because I think I had 10 of them left, and I was just like, I'm bored now, I'm not having fun anymore.
It's because you did it in Ghost Recon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I gave up on that one, but yeah, it's a good game, and if you're like the type of person who only buys like 1 or 2 games a year and you want one to last you that year, Odyssey will do it for you.
Well,
it's amazing. The world is amazing, isn't it? It's just
the world's beautiful.
And stuff is pretty great. And the naval bits I liked a lot. But just sailing in a big world like that and then just jumping off the boat whenever you want is a really cool thing. Just that fact is really cool.
Yeah,
there's an interesting question. I think this year is that Assassin's Creed has its like yearly punters. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter or whenever it releases. But this year with the Valhalla release, so since we last spoke about it, Ubisoft have kind of gone out and mentioned that it's not going to be the biggest game. It's not going to be the longest game, which is an unusual thing to say out of context. Like if you spoke to somebody about that, they'd say, well, what's exciting about that? But for people who have that problem with the Assassin's Creed bloat and the RPG mechanics, that's going to be quite important when it comes to their decision making, right? Yeah. So that kind of folds nicely into the bit of gaming news we had this week. And I'll leap back around to that in a little while. But basically, Ghost of Tsushima, the Sucker Punch Studios game, we saw at E3 a couple of years ago. It was the one where there was that guy with the flute playing some mad stuff in a field of wheat. It got a proper little reveal again this week.
Yeah,
it was like a 20-minute, 18-minute if you want to be anal about it, state of play event, which is like the Nintendo Direct thing that Sony does, focusing entirely on the game. And it showed off like 2 pretty big, what you'd say, pillars of the game in the games industry. That's the wanky PR term for it, right? You got the exploration. They showed off that. They had a spotlight on that. And then they went to combat. And then that's splintered up into 2 separate things. So, did you guys? You've all seen it, yeah? Yep. All 2 of you. You've all seen it.
I've seen it. Oh, yeah. No, I've seen it. I've seen a bit of it. I'm weird with this stuff. I don't like to see too much of it. And I don't like too much detail. I don't like too much story. I don't. I saw enough to make me go, do you know what? Yeah, I'll get that. I'll get that straight away. It looks really good, and I have been looking forward to it. But I'm not. I'm not kind of. I like the studio and everything. I've played pretty much everything they've done, I think, and I'm not expecting it to be. I'm not expecting it to be my game of the year or anything like that. I've not got these high expectations for it. I'm just looking forward to it as a game that I'm going to get. So I didn't need selling on it really, but I don't know. There's some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff. I think the animations and stuff were really nice, and I think I was a bit put off very slightly by the kind of how much HUD was there, if you know what I mean. Like there was like outlines on the characters and shit like that, which it's stupid stuff like that decides how I feel about games, I think. But everything they'd seen so far was really cinematic, and I thought it was going to be a bit more like Hellblade, kind of Senua's Sacrifice levels of just nothing, just a character and a world, and really light like UI type stuff. So it was a bit more of a gamey game than I thought it was going to be, if that makes sense.
The very beginning, that was the first thing that struck me, actually, was the complete opposite of what you just said. Like, I was looking at it going, what are they going to do for the map markers and stuff like that? And they were showing off that they didn't have a map marker. They were showing off that the wind is the map marker. So the wind will always go direction which was cool, right? So I couldn't have been any further away from what you're saying, right, at that point. I'm a
purist, mate. I
was like, that is good. But then I see what you're saying. Every enemy or point of interest has like a glowing line about it that has the X-ray vision thing. Yeah. It's like when you throw one of those snapshot grenades in COD and you can see through the wall.
Yeah, it's like, totally. Now if you can make a great comparison to fucking COD, you kind of see what I'm saying. Like, it looks great.
Yeah, like they really have taken a leaf out of Breath of the Wild's book, and there's no two ways about that. The way that they've put a focus on smoke rising in the distance and getting points of interest in a very like organic way without taking you to the map screen to look for a question mark. But I mean, which is there, I guess. But I thought that was cool.
That's what I mean. Like with I don't know how the hell you do it, but like I thought it was going to be a little bit more like, I guess Senua's Sacrifice is the best thing I think of, but it's just when I think of that game, I just don't think of anything except Senua and the world I'm looking at, and everything that comes up feels kind of justified. Whereas there's just kind of just a slight layer of gaminess on most games, isn't there? Games are getting much better at doing it, but
I think God of War did a pretty good job of that as well. Because I can't remember what the UI looks like. I briefly remember there being something at the bottom.
Yeah, you have like your health bar. That's about it, and it only flashes up when you're getting hit.
Yeah,
yeah. So
if I can't remember it, that's good for me. If I can't remember the UI, that's really good.
Or you do a Dead Space where the UI is so integral to it's literally just on your character.
Yeah.
Now that would be interesting if he had like a little battery on his sword or something. But so like I was watching that, I was pretty impressed by it, and then I didn't watch the combat bit till the next day. So I wasn't that impressed by the samurai stuff. For it was very like Assassin's Creed. When everybody said that they didn't like Assassin's Creed combat, it was like you did have those samurai stare downs, which is pretty cool. But then otherwise, it was more of that, like I can imagine it's something like hold triangle to block, press square at the right time to do a parry death blow and stuff like that. So that's pretty boring, because after Sekiro, like the combat is so visceral in that and like super like I feel like that's the right way to do swords now forever, so it's going to be very hard to persuade me otherwise. But then the Shinobi stuff, the dirty play style that they kept kind of pushing that point. You're going against your own code to use fear and stuff like that. I thought was pretty interesting, but again, very Ubisoft. Like
that's more of what I saw. It's that kind of skulking on the rooftops type stuff that I saw, and it's cool to have like a contrast. But you're totally right. It does seem like old Assassin's Creed, doesn't it? It does seem like original Assassin's Creed.
This is kind of where. Earlier, like that's where I used that as a segue point earlier. Like, I'm wondering now, with them mentioning that Valhalla's going to be shorter than the big Assassin's Creed bloat that people like, and it's still like RPG-ish. If they now, like an Assassin's Creed fan of old, could buy one game this year, it might be this, because it's like a huge open world with loads of question marks on your map marker, that old school combat, stealth, one-hit kills, like... taking down generals, like
did you see they said about Valhalla they're bringing back the insta kill hidden blade?
You even seen it in the cinematic actually, so that's good. But this is it is very Assassin's Creed. I was actually quite and now this is the bit that I want to say in like the nicest way possible. And please, like, if you're into Ghost of Tsushima, don't think I'm shitting on it because I genuinely am not. But I was quite surprised at how warm the reception was for it. To be honest, it reminded me like when I saw Days Gone, like they were showing off cool stuff about Days Gone, but like a lot of people saw past it and were like, yeah, well that's probably filling out lots of bloat. With Tsushima, like everyone was into it, and I don't know if it's because like I'm such a Sekiro fanboy or something, but I saw people saying this is the Tenchu sequel that we deserve, and I'm thinking like it's not. Well, I said that, yeah, like I had a fucking argument on Twitter about it. Somebody saying that Sekiro was nothing like Tenchu, and I'm thinking like, well, it was made as a yeah. Well, it was made.
There's not really a big focus on stealth in Sekiro. Like you can play it stealthy if you want, but it's more focused on the like one-on-one parry combat, isn't it? In Sekiro.
I can see this being the rest of the podcast, dear lads. No, this is going to be.
These are my bullet points about Sekiro. Here's my prepared, pre-baked. Right here, this is like you can't argue with this. They're both set in the 16th century. Yeah, right, Japan, where you have got a divine blade and you need to stop a demonic lord overtaking your lands using either a mixture of brutal one-on-one combat as a stealth fail state or death blows. You've got a prosthetic grapply thing and you wall hug people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sorry. And then the thing. Okay,
let's made this then. It's as close to Tenchu as FromSoft were ever going to get.
They own the rights to Tenchu. They made it as a Tenchu in early conception, and then were like, we can't do this. It's disrespectful. So, I
remember all that. Yeah.
You have to get a little bit deeper into Sekiro to understand the Tenchu elements, I think. And it's the same with Tenchu. Like, if you don't remember that Tenchu was about demon lords and divine blades and the wrath of heaven, and you only thought it was about the stabby man throwing the stars, then I get it. And if you just think Sekiro is like Dark Souls but with samurai swords, then
that's why you keep dying, for starters.
It's like Bloodborne. People keep talking about Bloodborne being Lovecraftian and blah, 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 blah. If you didn't get past Father Gascoigne, mate, it's not, is it? It's not. There's nothing about it. There's nothing to it. It's just Dark Souls with fucking goth. So, like, I don't want to say you have to get far into Sekiro to get it, but Tsushima seems a lot more like an Assassin's Creed game than Tenchu. But how I feel about it is exactly how I feel and felt about Horizon Zero Dawn. I was like, take it or leave it. I'll get it because it's my job. I got it, and I actually really liked it. So I think that's the same with Tsushima. Because of Sekiro and how much I liked it, like, I don't really feel that excited about this, but I reckon I'm going to get it and go, oh my God. So I'm looking forward to it in that sense. Because
you compared it to Days Gone and the, just in terms of like marketing it and stuff. And, I think I agree with that. But the only reason I reckon, and we've talked about Days Gone recently quite a bit and had some emails and stuff about it. But
from people who are saying it's slept on, it's actually great. Yeah.
But the only reason I didn't properly go for Days Gone, I think, is because it was a kind of another zombie game, and it was like an open world thing with all your classic open world trappings and a well done story, and kind of a slightly familiar face as the main character and all that sort of stuff. But it was like another zombie game, so that's why I didn't go for it. But whereas this, I'm much more into the idea of the setting, so I kind of don't care as much that it's which I guess is what people say about Assassin's Creed when they love it. They don't care about the repetitiveness and stuff because they just like being in ancient Greece and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not like the complete thing about the Sekiro argument is Sekiro is hard if you don't like that type of game. So you might have really wanted to enjoy Sekiro, but then you're missing that really crucial element of what video games are supposed to be, where you're not having a nice time, you're not having fun, and then you go on the internet and there's dickheads like me talking about how good it is, and you're just thinking, oh well, it's not for me. So this is like going to be that fix, isn't it, for people that like didn't get what everyone else seemed to have got with Sekiro, and like they're going to have an opportunity to immerse themselves in this world. Like, I'm interested enough in this that like it's like supposed to be quite historically accurate, so I'm interested to see like how they're going to do like the Mongolian invasion properly, and is there going to be Korea in it or whatever. I remember looking this up about 2.5 years ago when they announced it, looking up the history of the real thing, and is pretty interesting. So, Liam, as somebody who's just like really fresh, the dust hasn't even settled off the back of a massive RPG like Assassin's Creed. Do you feel like excited about this or a bit?
Yeah, I'd say I am, but not mostly because of like the gameplay we got shown, more because I like the studio, Sucker Punch they're called. I've played, I think, every single game they've made actually, and I've enjoyed every single one.
So it's Sly Cooper was them, right? And what was the other one?
Infamous, yeah. And yeah, I platinumed the first 3 Sly Cooper games when they brought them to PS3 in HD. And yeah, like Infamous Second Son is like a bit of a forgotten about PS4 classic, I think. Probably because it came out so close to launch that everyone forgot about it.
Yeah.
But like, and it looks really nice. I love the look of the setting, like the cherry blossoms in the wind and everything, and the way the animals guide you to like interesting points in the world. I'm optimistic for it, to be fair. I think it looks good.
I think the black and white mode is going to be a way a lot of people are playing it. But so for everyone listening, and like if you're listening using like an audio service, most of them have got comments as well. I want to read them, but I want to know 2 things, right? I want to know if you're an existing Assassin's Creed fan after seeing this, are you more excited about Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Ghost of Tsushima? And I'm also curious to know, out of everybody who watched the State of Play and is going to get Ghost of Tsushima, are you going to play it in black and white or are you going to play it in colour? Because I don't know how much of a sort of I go to university and study film and I really like Akira Kurosawa that mode is, or if it's like, is there something to it? Like, I don't know. I think I remember something about The Last of Us 2 is going to have a black and white cut. A filter. They're going to put a fucking filter.
Everyone's doing it these days.
Yeah,
Mad Max did it like a while ago. Then Logan did it. Now games are getting in on the action.
Yeah, like Mad Max Fury Road either is getting one or has already got one, right? And like,
it's got one.
What, black and white? No, it had one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Shiny and Chrome. They called it, I think.
Yeah. So is this a new? Is this a new trend then, do you reckon? I don't know. You guys have got HDR tellies, so I reckon it would work a lot more for you than me. But
I want to play it.
Black and white stuff looks amazing.
I want to play it more in colour because HDR will help the colours pop as well. And it looks very bright and colourful, this game, with like the different, they had all the red and yellow trees and orchids and stuff in the fields.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's going to be something.
Well,
so,
I mean, I'd play it in colour. If they were saying this is a black and white game, I'd go, awesome, great, I'll play that.
Yeah,
but
sure.
if they're saying you can put it in black and white if you want, you haven't done it like that, have you? You've obviously decided that colour is the best. It's like it's the primary kind of, and you have to change it to black and white if you want to. So
that would be so ballsy if they made it just black and white.
Exactly.
I will play it with the Japanese audio track because
Yeah.
I'll have a listen to both, I think, and then.
Well, go back to Sekiro. The Japanese and Sekiro was so much better than the English dub.
It was amazing.
I played Sekiro in English, Japanese, and German, and I've got to tell you,
what's the fucking spear on a horse guy?
Oh, it's just a robot. It's just that, There's the Spanish one's good for that, but you can have a look. There's actually like a compilation on YouTube of all of the languages for the guy
for Roberto.
So the Ghost of Tsushima reveal was like one. I think it was the last day in like this sort of like combo of game reveal that we got this week. So I guess
can I mention something super quick? Sorry to fucking cut across. Right, this is something that I thought was good. I think it's quite good ultimately, but when I was reading about it, I thought it was pretty sad. It was Anthem. So Anthem, Bioware.
Heard of it?
It's kind of big disaster that happened. No, I'm joking. It was it was something they've done an update, like a dev update about Anthem and what they're going to do with it, and they're basically saying there's only well, I'm saying only. But there's about 30 people now working on Anthem who are specifically trying to figure out why it wasn't any good, right? But we're not talking about like a adding more things, balancing the weapons and adding more things into the loot cycle and adding areas, nothing like that. They actually are going to the fucking core of the game. Yeah. Why isn't it any good? And they said they're going to openly and kind of transparently experiment on it. It's going to take a long time, and they're going to kind of see, what works and what doesn't work and stuff. And they've openly acknowledged that so it's not going to be like a No Man's Sky, carefully like building blocks over time.
And it's not going to be like what they initially said in a blog post, that it was going to be a bit of like a Realm Reborn, where it's just going to be Anthem 2. So this is going to be just like throwing in a fuckload of spices into like a bolognese mix and going, nah.
Completely.
Nah.
They said the word, I think it was incubation or something like something like like a biological process kind of thing, and they
couldn't be any more like cartoon bad guys as is.
Exactly. They sound like fucking Weyland Yutani or whatever from fucking Alien universe.
Doing experiments on their weakest specimen publicly.
Yeah, but I just thought that was interesting. I just thought,
poor Anthem.
We know a few people who kind of watch friends of the channel and stuff, and who like the game, and I wonder if people are going to be waiting around for this, and because I feel like I've been waiting around for No Man's Sky, or I was waiting around for No Man's Sky couldn't wait for No Man's Sky to have more stuff in it, but I was getting like every 3 to 6 months there was a massive update for No Man's Sky that was kind of something new to mess around with. You just not get really. I mean, are you going to get that with Anthem? I mean, it could be like 3 months down the line, and they've got this team, and EA could easily just be like, well, actually, do you know what? Fuck it. No one's playing it. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? They could just pull the plug on it at any time, and they're the types to do that, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the thing. They need one like darling game on the next gen, and they'll forget all about this. To be completely honest, I reckon.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. It's a bit of a sad situation. No Man's Sky, on the other hand, I don't know if they're getting cocky again or what, but they kind of put out a thing recently saying, and now the fun's just beginning. Now we're going to get experimental, Yeah. So,
I mean, how much room have you got on a YouTube thumbnail to say the rise and fall and rise and fall and rise of
No Man's Sky?
There's going to be people hammering them videos.
Let them try. So Mutant games aside, these are some freshly birthed announcements. I remember that I'm not normally hosting.
You're looking for EA recently, mate.
Yeah. Strength resolve. So
freshly incubated.
We've had loads of announcements this week of varying levels of excitement, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff Keighley, he likes to talk a big talk, right? And he's one of the people that's kind of stepped forward and offered to showcase games in lieu of E3 being cancelled and all events because of the coronavirus. If you're listening to this like sometime into the future, 2020, what year? So Jeff Keighley is doing a summer of games. Maybe it's summer of game and I can't remember. It's all the same. And he's just doing announcements between now and August in a run-up to the opening night of Gamescom Live, which he's also doing. And he's just basically saying, I'm the one-stop shop for a lot of exciting things happening. So the first stream that he did announced complete remakes, but they're called remasters, of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Beloved skateboarding game. And fun fact, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is the second highest rated game of all time on Metacritic, right there under Ocarina of Time. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 are coming in I think it's in September, actually.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Pretty soon to all the modern consoles. And that was one of the announcements. Should we move on, or do you guys have anything to say about that?
Nah, not right. I think I played one of them once at a friend's house when I was a kid. That's it. I've got no love for these games.
I loved them. I absolutely loved the first two. I thought it fell off after 3. Then I moved on to Skate, which, we all know. The rest is history. I really like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is amazing, and the soundtrack is cool, but that was when I was 8. I'm old now, so I think it's time to move on. What I think I found with the remasters that have come out of as late, Spyro and whatnot, it's better for me to preserve them in my head than actually go back.
Yeah.
Spyro was pretty good, actually. Crash was good. I don't need any more of that. So
worth saying, the people who did the Crash remakes are doing Tony Hawk remake.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks cool. It's not quite scratching the itch to skate wood, so I don't think I'll get it, but it was quite exciting news. It's still a pretty big announcement, and that was him warming up. Then him being Jeff Keighley at this point, started chatting breeze like, "Oh, the most important gaming event of the summer's coming tomorrow." Everyone was speculating. I convinced myself it was going to be Grand Theft Auto 6. I was like well into the idea, but in fact what we got was the reveal of a new game engine, which isn't as boring as it sounds. You guys have both seen this, right?
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 5, The Rise of the Triangles. It was like a tech demo running in real time straight to the HDMI port on a PS5. So it was also our first look at potential gameplay of the PS5, although the game that we saw isn't a product that you can buy. What did you guys make of this? Anything memorable there that you thought, or did anything stand out?
Triangles, just lots and lots of triangles. Triangles, Everett, billions of triangles. They did
so many triangles, like white noise when they showed you the wireframe, which was impressive.
I think it's fucking amazing. I think it's big for TV and film, like not to mention games. I think with the film, the way they did Mandalorian, which they used game engine, they used Unreal Engine 4 to basically film the whole thing in a studio without a green screen. And I love how Mandalorian looks. It fucking looks great. It looks amazing, and it just you just stop thinking about it in a way that I don't think you do with green screen somehow. I think you're a little bit you're just a little bit more like tuned in to what green screen is now. Even when it's done well, you're kind of thinking about the effect of it. Whereas this is kind of a different way of doing it, and they kind of lock the screen in the background, which the actors can see, which is fucking really important. And that's locked, with a frame rate, with a camera and everything. So it all kind of, it's just this great kind of recipe, and that's I think that's ace, that there's game technology that's so fucking good that they're using it for.
It's basically the holodeck from Star Trek, right?
It's exactly. It's a very depressing dystopian sci-fi technology that you could write into a sci-fi novel about a spaceship where they all have a room where they go into to kind of imagine a different world. It's just that kind of detailed. And I think that the way that Unreal, I don't fucking know what I'm talking about, but it sounds like that this is a much more kind of accessible and less, computationally expensive way of doing like lighting and things like that. Which lighting is, you can have the shittest textures in the world, but if you've got great lighting, the game's going to look really good.
Yeah.
So if you can do that without hammering people's PCs and consoles and stuff, you can get a lot more out of a lot less. And I think it's fucking ace. I was really excited.
It's interesting to see. Like, I think, like, from a new point of view, like the basically, which is like our point of views, I guess, like the stuff that kind of seems to make a lot of sense is that particle effects are automated now. So whether that particle is a bat or a roach or a leaf falling, they're all aware of each other and where they are. So you don't have to program 50 cockroaches to not bump into each other. There's that pathfinding and things like that, which is going to be great for anything from rubble flying out of walls to swarms of insects. Crazy to think what could happen with something like that rat game, Plague Tale. On top of that, lighting is all automated now. It doesn't have to be manually adjusted every time. So
what did they say as well? You can make like cinema quality assets and just port them into the game, and it'll scale it automatically for you. Yeah,
because normally on the store there's like the movie quality and like the game quality, and then one is like a lot lower because of the amount of triangles that you can load in. But now you can I think basically they've just unlocked the power of the triangle. So I interested to see what my wife thinks, because she's like the closest person I've got in my life, somebody who doesn't know anything about video games. Do you know what I mean? I thought, I wonder if she'll think it's impressive or look like total shit. So I just showed her the gameplay, and she was like, couldn't believe how good it looked.
Yeah,
thought it looked amazing. And I was like, yeah, like looking at that, I'm thinking, can you imagine an Uncharted on that? Horizon Zero Dawn was actually the game that I thought of.
Yeah, same. I don't know why, but I think that, and it's the kind of thing where you always, if you go back a few years now, you look at games, even just the start of this gen, they just don't look as good. Like if they came out now, they just wouldn't pass. They just wouldn't. You wouldn't believe it was a new game kind of thing, and it's fucking mad. Like how God of War looks amazing, right? And Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which you just played, Liam, looks really good. But then you give it a new generation, and a couple of years, you're gonna look back at it. Assassin's Creed Black Flag was one where I thought at the time it just looked incredible and was really immersive, and the sea and the islands and everything I thought was amazing. You look at it now, it just looks shit. It just does not look good, right?
I can't imagine.
It's mad.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is the one that when that looks totally shit, you've gone too far. Yeah,
that will get. I can see that getting Rockstar fucking, Red Dead Redemption 2 on PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, and it'll be just
patched. For sure. Like, I saw quite a few people on my Twitter who were like, because I work in PR, I work a lot with like other PR agency people, games journalists, not so many streamers, but the journalists, they were all like saying stuff like, oh, it's not as impressive as I thought. And I'm like, wow. And to me, it is that step up. But people are saying it's not the step up from PS3 to PS4. I'm fully back it. But I'm interested. It's going to be good knowing that, in a month's time, we'll have a lot more insight on the PlayStation's gameplay, and then in July we've got Xbox has got an event which they've already confirmed they're showing off gameplay for Halo Infinite, so we're finally going to see the new Halo and whatever. So Epic kind of brought the goods, I think, and in terms of like industry news, they Epic were kind of everywhere this week, so kind of exciting news regarding the Unreal Engine for like developers, that they aren't going to be taking any royalties from no royalty split at all until your game's in $1 million, which is very cool because so many indie games won't hit $1 million in profit as well, not turnover. So that is very, very big news because it can be up to like 20% or whatever. So, and then Epic also put out GTA 5 for free on the Epic Game Store, which broke the internet. It broke Epic Game Store. Which is mad to think. The Fortnite people got broke. So GTA 5 is a game I don't really have many strong feelings about.
Neither do I by now for some reason. I loved it at the time. I remember the story was great. But
maybe it's something to do with the fact it's about 8 years old. Yeah. If you guys double dipped, did you manage to get a copy of it on Epic just for the sake of having it? Because I haven't yet.
Yeah, I claimed it. It's installed even, all 94 gig of it.
KNL.
So ready to rock.
Ready to go. Just because.
Why not? 94 gig.
That's one Call of Duty patch.
That's one Call of Duty patch, or it's about 17 RTS games from 2005, isn't it? That's the real truth.
That's enough install space needed to give your whole village Battle for Middle-earth 2, isn't it? Basically, that's a rural joke. Now, speaking of GTA 5, then let's do an email. If you want to email us, you can email us at dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Now, if you speak very flowery and politely about a game, it will get caught in not our spam folder, but our promotional folder. I looked at the promotional folder and found basically just an email from a guy talking about Google Stadia and how good it was. That read like an advertisement so much, Google thought it wasn't worthy of being read. So just a little one for you there. If you're going to email dearspecialmoves@gmail.com, either make an endearing nickname up for your favourite product, or don't be a sellout. Here's one from Chester from Sheffield. Says, Dear Special Moves, now more than ever, I've been able to play games online with friends for obvious reasons. And one game we've revisited is GTA 5. In terms of online gameplay, the game is aged woefully, with heists being needlessly frustrating, awkward, and restrictive. Nothing is more annoying than losing a heist because you were killed by bullshit and letting your friends down. The aspect in GTA 5 that has held up is music, including artists I found out about because of GTA 5, ones I became fans of later. And then he's gone on to name some: Kendrick Lamar, Thundercat, Apex Twin, Flying Lotus. How do you guys feel about GTA 5 nowadays and its soundtrack? Do you have any favourites from within it? All the best, Chester from Sheffield. So, a question about the GTA 5 soundtrack, really. And I think if you can't remember anything, that says something. Do you... how do you feel about GTA 5 now?
It's been so long. I literally haven't played it properly since it came out. I did double dip on the PS4 version, but I only made it like an hour, maybe 2 into it before I didn't want to play it anymore. I've never played GTA Online, never touched it, like not once, because I remember when GTA 5 came out, I got it on PS3, but the online didn't launch for like 2 months, and by that time I'd already moved on to other things. But yeah, like I think I can remember the story of GTA 5 quite well, but everything else, not so much, to be honest. Like, I remember Trevor, Michael, and Franklin. I remember them. I remember, like, all the big story beats and everything. But yeah, like, the music, I can't name a single song on the soundtrack apart from Baker Street. I can't remember any, like, side characters. I can't remember any of, like, the missions apart from the big heists that you do periodically throughout the game. And that's mainly because they're rip-off of movies. Is the only reason I remember them. Yeah, I can't remember much about GTA 5, to be entirely honest.
No, neither can I. It's quite weird, isn't it? I can remember Michael's son, who was a dick, and
I remember
a few of the
some
other characters.
The tennis playing coach and the wife, the very Sopranos rip-off style.
Very early. I think that's the introduction to. Is it Michael or whatever?
I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't even finish the game, but I remember some of the story beats. I'm not massive in. I don't think I finished a single GTA all the way through. No, I have. San Andreas is the only one I finished, but I just get bored of them. Like Red Dead, I didn't finish that either. I'm not gonna, to be honest. But with GTA, like soundtrack wise, Fly Low FM, I like it. Like, I'm massively into that sort of thing anyway. I love Flying Lotus. And in fact, the year it came out, I saw Flying Lotus and Cashmere Cat in Manchester. You're from Sheffield, Chester, so you know where Manchester is, mate. It was a warehouse project with Rusty, Flying Lotus, Jamie XX, and Cashmere Cat. And Cashmere Cat's on there. Muru Maru is on there. That's the best track on there, I think, to be honest. So the soundtrack is good, and it's interesting that they are always years ahead of the trends, I guess. Because now a lot of people who wouldn't have known Cashmere Cat know Cashmere Cat because they collabed with like Ariana Grande, Selena Gomez, and Diplo and whatnot. But 8 years ago, do you know what I mean? But as a hipster, fuck off. I think the game must have aged very well, because I remember when we were doing a pretty good game and news cycle, day in, day out, every single fucking day for years and years and years, GTA 5 has sat there in the top 5. Mm-hmm. I don't think it ever did top 5 when we were checking. I don't think now we check the daily, weekly, yearly sales of games at all. But whenever I go on, I think it's like gamesindustry.biz is a little sales chart on the right, or Games Press or whatever for my job. I still see GTA 5. So it's one of them games. But funnily enough, you guys aren't really remembering like key things about it, like the way that you guys might remember about San Andreas. Yeah. I wonder how much of that is your age. Like, I wonder, or is it just not a memorable game? Like, it's good all around, but is it not as memorable? I'm.
Well, it was a long time ago, wasn't it? But it's kind of, I think maybe it's been any kind of things I felt have like been pushed out by other GTA 5 knowledge. Like the fact that it's, like you say, always in the charts. It's a big fucking multiplayer thing.
Yeah, and shark cards, something shark cards.
Exactly, yeah. So all like GTA 5 kind of knowledge and experience has been overwritten by fucking just news because it's been in the news, like you're saying, for well, just I guess, but I mean, I just mean I no longer think of it as a single player open world game with 3 characters. I think of it as I think of it as Fortnite. You know what I mean? I just think of it as a multiplayer thing that kids play.
Yeah, well, like Fortnite, it is like a sensation, and GTA 6 is overdue now. Let's get an announcement soon. I've been meaning to ask you about this all week, guys. So thanks very much, Chester, for your email, by the way, mate. Appreciate that. And again, seamlessly segueing into something very related. I guess we'll find more about it this week. So currently, I'm burning through Sopranos. I've mentioned it a couple of times in the bonus podcast. And yeah, we watched The Irishman together, and I love this whole mafioso thing. I just don't get bored of watching those types of things, right? However, I have never played any of the Mafia games, right? I think I might have played Mafia 3. I think it was a free PlayStation Plus game, but turned it off and I ended up not playing it. So there was an announcement this week then that Mafia Trilogy is on the way, which is a staggered set of releases. More information is going to come on the 19th of May, which is this week coming up. So from what I understand, from what's kind of leaked already, Mafia 1 is getting a full remake do-over. Mafia 2 is getting a remaster. And I'm not really sure what's happening with Mafia 3, but I don't think people really care as much as the first 2. Did you guys play Mafia 1 and 2? And what's it about? Why shouldn't I be excited for it?
Mafia 1's a weird one because I think Mafia 1 I'm sure it's going to look and play great, but it needs a remake because Mafia 1 was one of them games where had a good story and it was like a third person, game with shooting and driving. There was, like a bad kind of mafia story, but it was cool. And there was like a level where you had to steal a race car and then drive around a race track and shit with it, and like from the 20s. And there was a lot of like deals going wrong and stuff like that in the story, and it was cool. But it was one of them games where it was like just having an open world city with nothing in it was really exciting. Just driving around, and it was just fucking buildings and bridges and other cars and police. And there's nothing. There was no car, there wasn't a barber, there wasn't cut tailors, there wasn't side missions, there was nothing apart from the story mission and an open world set and open world city. And the story would have a little cutscene in like an Italian restaurant, and it would say, you got to go down here and do that. Go to the brewery. So then you'd go back in the open world city and then drive to the place that you have to get to.
Like L.A. Noire.
Yeah, but it was like, I don't know, 2001 or something, or
right. Okay, yeah.
Something like that. So it was fucking big. It was like, GTA 3 was, just it's the same type of thing where it's just that newness of having a 3-dimensional city to drive around in was really exciting.
Yeah.
But then it had like obviously tied in with like a mafia storytelling and stuff. So that I think that's why it probably was such a strong hook for people early on, like why people liked it. And then Mafia 2, I mean, I played that and beat it, but did you play that, Liam? Mafia 2?
Yeah, I played it and beat it. Mafia 2 and 3, I finished. But yeah, like Mafia 2, I remember it being a lot more linear than the other 2 games in the series. Like, it was more... So it was kind of like L.A. Noire, actually, where you had it was more going like point A to point B, mission to mission, story beat to story beat, but it did sort of give you a bit of leeway in between where you could drive around a bit and find collectibles and stuff like that. But I wouldn't call it like an open world game. But I do remember Mafia 2 it was mostly a cover shooter, I guess. Like a lot of third person shooting behind cover. Yeah. But I remember it had a very strong story, to be fair. Like it was written quite well. And like the characters were well fleshed out. The storyline had some nice like surprises to it. I remember it being like quite engaging, and it's I think what was it, like a 10-hour game or something like that. So it's not like a massive game, but it was
really
like it kept me hooked throughout the entire thing, which I kind of appreciated at that time because it came out around the time of the 360 PS3 gen, where everything was starting to go the Ubisoft open world, and so it came out. It was refreshing to have this like sort of tightly paced, narrative-driven shooter semi-open world game, because there's still driving.
Trying to be cinematic. Cinematic was the thing that it was trying to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember it being pretty good, the second one.
Yeah, they're good. They're good games. And the third one is pretty forgettable because I can't... That was more like Ubisoft open world, wasn't it?
The third one is such a missed opportunity of a game, I think, because it's got... The gameplay's good, because it's like the shooting in it's good, the driving feels good in it, the story is good, and the characters are really well written, but then it just throws you into this open world of... Go take down this area, go take down this area, go capture this area, go destroy this checklist item.
Assassin's Creed, Syndicate, it's like that.
Fully.
So, like, Mafia 3 was a big missed opportunity, I think. Like, because it has some moments of brilliance, and it's bogged down by, like, the most boring open world filler you can find.
They should have just given it the same treatment as Mafia 2, really, shouldn't they?
For sure, yeah.
Added a few bits on, I guess, but they went too far with it.
Well, so if you believe in the rumours, then Mafia 2 is looking like it's going to come out at the same day as the announcement. So this trilogy is going to be properly announced on the 19th, and I think the second one's going to be made available right then. That's a remaster of Mafia 2. Mafia 1 is getting this lavish remake. It's not just a remake, but they've promised like additions and things like that.
Yeah.
It's developed by Hangar 13, who are the people that did Mafia 3.
Mm-hmm.
So
that'll be cool, you know. That'll be cool. And
yeah,
I remember,
I'm well up for that. I'm well up for it.
It'll be good, and I hope they kind of stick to. Maybe perhaps I'm misremembering it, but you know, one of the things I kind of always moan about is in Red Dead Redemption 2 and stuff, where you know, it's like you ride a horse, you get to somewhere, and it's just the shooting gallery is insane. There's just like 40, 50 other people, and you're just fucking gunning them all down like it's nothing. But in Mafia, it felt like more of a. There was a lot less people, and you know, it was older, wasn't it? So they couldn't have as many characters on the screen. But I hope they try and stick to that and not make every shootout feel like a fucking Gears of War level, and have. You know, I remember one level where you had to like drive to. It was like it's good. It's kind of coming back to me in a good way. It's quite cinematic.
Like, do you know what game didn't do this? GTA 5.
Yeah, exactly. But it was raining, and you had to like very Mafia like story level where you like had to hijack a lorry and then drive it to a dodgy kind of brewery farm type thing, and it was all tied up with like prohibition beer and stuff, and then so obviously that goes wrong, and there's a few guys in there that are in the way, and I'm talking like 3 or 4 guys, but it's a shootout.
Because it's a bit old-timey, isn't it, this, right? It's like 30s or 40s compared to like...
Yeah, I think the original one's in the 20s, but it's, you know, it's slower, and it's more like... it's a bit more Mafia than having just an endless kind of parade of bad guys that you're just going to gun down. So I hope they do kind of... What I'm saying is they stick to that kind of pace and that smaller scale conflict and stuff. Because it's cool, it's fucking memorable, and it's cinematic. And I'm thinking more about the rain and, you know, the one guy I couldn't shoot from through the barn window for ages, you know.
Yeah.
But in Red Dead Redemption, I can't tell you, I must have killed, like, I reckon it was about 200 people per hour I killed in Red Dead Redemption 2. I reckon that's the kind of rate of death we're talking about here.
I remember the first Mafia had quite a bit of realism to it as well. Like, couldn't you get like pulled over and given like traffic tickets for speeding and stuff?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The more I hear about this, the more interested I am. So that's if you're listening to this on the day we put it out, it'll be tomorrow. So it's Tuesday, the 19th of May, the announcement. I guess it'll be on like 2K's socials or whatever. I don't know whether they're announcing it, showing it off. It could be part of like anybody's bloody live stream these days. So one more bit of news then, and I guess we'll do it quickly before we go into the new games. Nintendo did something very unusual, in my opinion, for Nintendo. Nintendo are in their element right now. Everybody's flapping. Everybody's panicking, trying to figure out how do we show off our games during this unprecedented plague. And Nintendo, who were like, bitch, 3 years ago we invented this shit, it's called a Nintendo Direct, are nowhere to be fucking seen. They haven't even bothered with a proper one in a while. And what do? They're just like, all right, here's a trailer for a new game, by the way. Oh, and it's a Mario game. Oh, and it's out in July. Oh, haven't we mentioned it before? What the hell's that? Paper Mario. Paper Mario got like a trailer that just dropped out of nowhere. It looks awesome. It looks really, really cool, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
I like the Paper Mario games. It's kind of niche, but they didn't do like even like a mini direct, which they've done before. Like, they're happy to spend 38 minutes talking about, which characters couldn't quite make the Smash cut. But when it comes to announcing a new game, they didn't just show off a trailer. And I think it looks really nice. That was a couple of days ago. Did you guys see this?
Yeah,
No.
I really like the look of it. I've played Super Paper Mario on the Wii, which I know is quite different to the other ones, which are they more RPG, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah, they are. There's something like really nice about them. It's like you associate Mario with one thing, well, two things really: the classic Mario or Mario Kart. So when you get this kind of RPG elements and stats and damage numbers popping up, you're like quite, it's nice. And they're normally funny.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like
that trailer was quite funny. The beginning, anyway, with like the evil Peach.
Yeah, exactly, and she looks so much like the cover art for the game Reigns. I can't unsee it. It looks identical to the Reigns cover. So it's like a full price, full length Nintendo game for £50 on the Switch, and it's coming out in July. They teased Metroid Prime at the very end, and that's it. Like there was some rumors floating around that Pikmin 3 Remastered is being worked on, and I can only hope that that's kind of an outright now title for the next Nintendo Direct. So if you're interested in that, I'm not doing it on purpose, right? But Nintendo first party games, normally you see them coming a mile off. You know what I mean? They do a direct about Fire Emblem or whatever. They're years off. But for them to just show a first party Nintendo title with basically no run up, like 8 weeks notice, was the most exciting announcement this week for me, apart from the Unreal Engine stuff. Like more than Sony or more than Mafia. So yeah, that's the first week of the summer of games. And I guess we'll talk about the new releases.
Who are you talking to?
I get my baby is screaming downstairs.
Okay.
She screams in a specific way if someone takes a Jaffa cake off her. So I know what it is straight away. But I couldn't tell if this was getting picked up. And if it was getting picked up, I wanted to, look down.
So if you're listening, Jake's kind of got a sofa behind him, and then he kind of turned and then told the sofa about the summer of games. And that's just...
But in fact, the sofa's next to my
might have just been off to the right, just off screen a little bit there, mate.
Yeah.
It's practicing being a talk show host.
So that's that. That's week one of what has been promised by everybody to be a long summer of game announcements. Let us know in the comments what you think of this weird like drip feed thing, because I think we're going to get bored of it very quickly. The fact that Mike isn't bored of it already was a shock to me. Give it a week.
Yeah, no. I quite like the idea of just every week or so, I'm going to pick my phone up at one point in the week, and there's going to be about 47 messages from you two talking about a traiailer that I've got to scroll up. One of them will
be good.
I've got to scroll up all the way to the top to find out what it is.
Yep.
I'm into that, like, because all of these were just complete surprises for me. Really, all the ones we mentioned, and they were, that's what they want, isn't it? They want them to be like they wanted Tony Hawk Pro Skater to be a surprise, and I'm well into that. I don't mind like a surprise announcement.
Yeah, that's good because it's my job to work in PR, and because all the events are cancelled, every one of our clients is talking about this, and everybody's coming to companies like THQ and Sega and Larian saying, hey, do you want to be part of our showcase? So I know about 50 of them that are on the way, like IGN are doing one, GameSpot's going to do, and I'm bored of it already. And I know exactly what's happening there for the stuff that I'm working on. So because of that, I'm like, it's not as exciting maybe. Yeah. I just assume that you would be not as excited because,
I think
you're 50 at heart.
Fucking hell, too real, mate. This is not gonna last too long. I've got a feeling that the only thing that could go a bit wrong with it is that they're all going to be like branded, so they're all having to think of their like Nintendo Direct name. So they've got their company name, adjective, or company name verb, or whatever, and they've
Oh, you mean
don't think you need that.
Forward?
Yeah, like all of that. Yeah. It's just going to get, that's possibly unnecessary, I think, and just dropping trailers and shit like that, and dropping announcements is probably just you don't need. We get it. There's a summer of announcements, right? And we'll just assume and just give out a fucking hashtag or something, and then they can all come in under that. Mm-hmm. We get that there's going to be loads of game announcements, so we're kind of ready for it. We don't need, you don't need like a Nintendo Direct brand. Mm-hmm. You don't need too many of them. And then it's going to be like IGN first and all that sort of shit, isn't there?
You got companies like Square Enix who said, we're not doing our own event. We're just going to drop trailers whenever we feel like it.
It's just completely different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I'm normally more impactful because we don't need to have like an influencer host.
Yeah.
Like what EA would be like, right, we could get somebody in a Ferrari, it's social distancing. Oh, fuck off, right? So... Anyway, the week of the 18th to the 24th of May, let's talk about some of the new games. What have we got? Golf with Your Friends comes out on everything on the 19th, which is the Tuesday. It's a Team 17 golf game. It comes out the same day as the wonderful 101 Remastered, which Liam has, with mysticism surrounding it, already played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
T-shirt.
Full disclosure, I guess I backed this on Kickstarter, and Kickstarter backers got codes a week ahead of time. I'm pretty sure I can talk about it because there's already reviews and videos out about it.
And an NDA?
No.
Well, you're an investor, mate. You set the rules.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose, I don't know if my name's in the credits, actually. It might be. So, yeah.
10 out of 10. Liam's, of course, going out of 10 out of 10.
Well, actually, no, because I'd never played Wonderful 101. I just backed it because I wanted to support Platinum in their first self-endeavour, I guess.
Yeah.
And because Wonderful 101 is Platinum's most divisive game, probably. It's very much either you love it or you hate it, because it's got a very unique control scheme. The game has a very big learning curve. Like, you'll get your ass handed to you, like, straight away. And the game never really explains how to play it properly. And if you go online and look what like fans of the games have to say, they always say, "Oh, just watch this hour-long tutorial to tell you how to play the game," of like made by some fucking guy on his YouTube channel. So it's it's a game. So I think I'm like 3 hours into it so far. I'm like a third of the way through the campaign, and it's not one of my favourite Platinum games, I have to say, so far. But again, that might change, because I might learn how to play it more efficiently. I don't know. But yeah, it's like... So I suppose the big thing about it is the remastered title part of the title, which is probably... It's dubious to call it a remaster, to be honest. It's more like a straight port from the Wii U, which is what it was originally on. And I think Digital Foundry put a video out saying like it's exactly the same as the Wii U version, just with you can, if you're on PC, you can put the resolution higher and the frame rate's a bit more steady. Other than that, it's exactly the same as the Wii U version. There's no higher textures or better audio or anything. So the whole the remastered part of the title is a bit but like I'm enjoying the game so far. It hasn't like entirely clicked with me, which but according to the fans of the game, that might not happen till the end of the game. So who knows? But like
that's like Nier Automata. The game hasn't started until the end of the game. And then you have to do the game 5 more times or whatever. Except
with if it in Wonderful 101's case, it makes fun of you for being bad at the game at the same time. Like which is that's sort of just Hideki Kamiya, like how his games are entirely. Like the first Bayonetta, that's got a steep learning curve to it, and the game just like laughs at how shit you are until you get good at the game. Wonderful 101 is very much the same with its weird control scheme and bit of it. Like it's a very busy game. There's a lot of visual overload, I have to say. Which but I'm enjoying it at the minute. And I'll keep on chugging along with that.
Well,
I think on some level, all games are laughing at how shit I am. So, I mean, I would be okay with that.
Well, this game
you sound a little bit. Go on.
I was just gonna say, 1 for 101 literally like points it in your face and says, "Look how shit you are."
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind that sort of stuff. I don't mind a bit of.
I don't bother. Like, I'm still
breaking.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it, and I know I'll get better eventually.
And who's laughing now? Platinum Games.
Yeah.
So that's out on Tuesday the 19th. Yeah. If you wanna get it on
PC, PS4, and Switch.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting that you're not well into it, and you're also not against it. So yeah, for a Platinum game to do that to Liam, it's odd that, and I like it.
They've got a few games like that. Bit.
Go on. What for you mean?
Yeah, there's like different tiers of Platinum games, I guess. Like the A tier, the top tier is stuff like Metal Gear Rising and Nier Automata, and like Bayonetta 2 and stuff like that. And then they've got the sort of like B tier, which is like Astral Chains and all that, which are a bit more funky and a bit more experimental. Wonderful 101 is certainly falls into one of the lower tiers for me, anyway.
I never played Metal Gear Rising, and I want to. I don't know why I haven't. I just never got around to it.
I can't remember what game it was that I saw, and it was like the big testimonial was like, "This is finally the spiritual successor to Metal Gear Rising Revengeance we needed," and I was like, "This doesn't mean anything to anyone who's not Liam." I can't remember. I think it might have been an early Nier or something.
Maybe. All you need to know about Metal Gear Rising is it lets you suplex a Metal Gear. So,
Enough said, innit?
And nano machines.
Yeah, that's out the same day as Go For Your Friends on the 19th. Then there's nothing really till the Friday, the 22nd, where there is 2 titles of maybe some interest to people. Maneater, that game that's been at every E3 since the dawn of time. It's the Shark RPG that Deep Silver are putting out on the PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox. Liam, I remember you saying that you quite fancy this one.
It looks like it could be a good laugh.
Yeah, just you're literally causing havoc as a shark. It looks like a bit more serious, like Goat Simulator, doesn't it? But
yeah,
it's that. And then there's a game that you guys are familiar with. Again, I haven't played it. Another open world like crime game I've not played. Fucking hell. Saints Row the Third Remastered comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One on that same day.
My favourite Saints Row game.
What are they doing to it?
They've remastered it. Saints Row the Third Remastered, mate. I know,
but I mean, Liam, do you know any more, mate?
No, I know what you mean. Like, because it's not that old a game, is it? Like, what is there to remaster? I guess. Like, I suppose it's just a port to PS4 and Xbox One.
It says it's got enhanced graphics. There's no other feature other than enhanced graphics.
Because they put it on the Switch not long ago.
Yeah.
But that was a straight port.
That was a straight port, yeah. So I guess this one's just got a higher resolution and frame rate, I guess. And maybe all the DLC bundled into it.
Yeah, let's assume so. Enhanced graphics again. It will include the game's 3 expansions and its sundry DLC. The full package will cost $39.99 in dollars, so it's £35 here in Great Britain.
It's a bit.
So
yeah, that's a bit
it's expensive.
Yeah, you can get the Game of the Year edition of the normal one on Steam sales for like £4.
It's really cheap.
They're just doing what they can because the week after is the week of ports, and we'll talk more about that next week. But thank you, everybody. Sorry that we didn't give you a podcast last week. And yeah, we will see you next time for some more gaming news, some more announcements probably. And yeah, if you're a patron, we're going to do a patron video, which is also overdue this week. Who knows what that's going to be about. Stay safe, everybody. Make sure that you're drinking enough water. And goodbye. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.